morning students. In the last class we have learnt how nerve impulse transmission takes place as well as what are various receptors like olfactory receptors, gustatory receptors, auditory receptors, etc. Now let us learn little more details about this nervous system and further topics. Our nervous tissue, it is made up of several millions of neurons. Our nervous tissue is made up of several millions of neurons. All these neurons are arranged in a network-like fashion. Right? Next, this nervous tissue, it is specialized for conducting or transferring the information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to other part of the body. The nervous tissue, it is specialized for conducting the information through or via electrical impulses from one part of the body to the other part of the body. If you look at neuron, we already have learned about the structure of neuron in the last class. In the structure of neuron, three parts are there: cell body, axon and nerve ending. To the cell body, hair-like tips are present which are called dendrites. Okay. And what are the functions of these different parts in a neuron? Dendrites is the part of the neuron wherein the information is acquired from the surroundings. Say it is from direct environment or say from the previous neuron. And the cell body and axon are the parts through which the information that is acquired at the dendritic tips, which is converted into electrical impulse form, will travel. So, the cell body and axon, the travel of or transmission of electrical impulse takes place. Next, third one is nerve ending. The electrical impulse is converted into chemical signal for the onward transmission. The electrical impulse is converted into chemical signal for the onward transmission. So, dendritic tips, the information is acquired, cell body and axon, the information is traveled, nerve ending, the information which is in the form of electrical impulse is converted into chemical signal so that it can be just transferred to the next neuron for the onward transmission. So, this is the neuronal pathway. If we close our nose and try to taste something, with which part we taste? With the tongue. You try to just observe without closing your nose, taste a particular food item, and by closing the nose or pressing the nose, try to taste the same item. You feel the taste differently. Why? Because from the tongue to your brain there is a neuronal pathway which goes through this nose area. So that as you have blocked the nose, the neuronal pathway got obstructed. So, if the neuronal pathway is blocked or obstructed, then the stimulus, that is change in whatever the area which you are observing, the stimulus cannot be recognized properly. So, continuous neuronal pathway is a must for the recognition of the stimulus. If the neuronal pathway is blocked, what will happen? Then the stimulus cannot be recognized properly. Next. Reflex action. Before learning reflex action, you need to learn what is normal action or response. Okay. What is response or what is movement? Movement is a response which is evoked towards a particular recognized stimulus or particular recognized stimuli. Upon receiving the stimuli, the information of the stimuli is being sent to the brain, where the information is processed and integrated and a decision is made in order to get executed. This information of the decision, it is transferred to the effector or motor organs by which the movement is executed. So, what are the things that are involved in all these areas? First, receiving the information by the receptors in the sensory organs, then it's transferred to the brain, and inside the brain it's a processing, integration, followed by decision making. Then the information, the decision, the information of the decision has to be given to the effector organs. So, between receiving the stimuli and executing the response, there is a sufficient gap in the normal action, because during this process, during this gap, what is happening? The information of the stimulus is transferred to the brain. There, its processing has taken place. Then, after processing, whatever the decision that is made out, it is transferred back to the effector organ. So, for all this process, some amount of time is going to take. Right? So, in a normal action, between the receiving of stimuli and execution of response, there is a gap. Right? Whereas, there is another type of action called reflex action. It is a sudden involuntary action. Why I have written involuntary action? Because in a normal action, you think and decide, then you execute the movement. So there it is voluntary. Whereas reflex action, you don't think. It will take place suddenly, involuntarily. So reflex means sudden. Examples like taking back of hand upon touching a hard object unknowingly, not knowingly. Okay, you have put your hand on some object. It was very hard, but you are not knowing. Then, as it was very hard, you are going to keep your hand like that? No, you will immediately take it back. Are you going to think and take it back? No, without thinking, immediately upon touching the hard object, immediately you will take it back. Right? Jumping back upon watching a snake suddenly on the road in front of you. You started walking in the dark. All of a sudden you have come across a snake at your feet. What will you do? Whatever the courageous personality that you might be, still you will jump back immediately. Right? So these are the various reflex actions. Right? In a normal voluntary action, there is a gap between the receiving of stimulus and the execution of the action. Okay, already we have discussed it. Since in the normal stimulus may not cause harm immediately during this gap, whereas in a reflex action there is no such gap. Since the gap period may allow the person to get some damage or harm because of that sudden received stimulus. Why there is a gap? Why there is no gap? In a normal action, there is a gap. Why? Because normal action is performed against a normal stimulus. Upon receiving the stimulus, immediately, even if the action is not taken also, even if the gap is taken also, a harm or some damage is not going to take place. So only by thinking coolly, you are going to take the action. Whereas in a reflex action, upon receiving that sudden stimulus, if sudden action or response is not exhibited, then there may be some harm that is going to occur. So only between receiving the stimulus and executing the response, there is no gap. Right? Okay. See, the pathway of the normal action. Sensory organs are there which receive the information of the stimulus through the dendritic tips of the neurons, which we call them as sensory neurons. Then this information is sent to brain. This information is sent to brain. Then in the brain, processing and integration of the information is taking place, followed by the decision information is sent to the motor organs or effector organs through the motor neurons. Through the motor neurons. In a reflex action, the information that is received by the sensory organs, it is moving through the sensory neurons and directly it is given to the motor neurons, and then it is just transferred to the motor organs or effector organs. So here the information of the stimulus, it is not reaching to the brain, and thinking by the brain or decision making, all those things are not taking place. All these things are skipped. So between the input and output, input means receiving the stimulus and output means executing the response. Between the input and output there is no gap. So only reflex action is faster. The pathway of the information between the sensory organs and the effector organs or the motor organs in a reflex action is called reflex arc. Reflex arc involves sensory organ, sensory neurons, spinal cord, motor neurons and effector organs. So here sensory organ, sensory neuron are input neuron, followed by spinal cord, then motor neurons are output neurons, then motor organs are effector organs. So in the reflex action, nerves that detect the stimuli are directly connected to the nerves that move the muscles. Means they give the information to the muscles, by which the muscles will start making the movement. So input nerves are directly connected to output nerves in reflex action. Through which part? Through spinal cord. Because whatever the neurons that take the information from the sensory organs, they will carry the information to the brain through the spinal cord. And whatever the neurons that bring the information from the brain to the effector organs, they carry that information through the spinal cord. So these sensory neurons which are bringing or which are carrying the information of the stimuli are encountering for the first time with the motor neurons which are bringing the information of the decision at the spinal cord. So spinal cord is the first junction between sensory neurons and motor neurons. So only in reflex arc the pathway is depicted between sensory organs, sensory neurons, spinal cord, motor neurons and effector organs. Okay. So the pathway of direct connection of input neurons and output neurons through the spinal cord. The pathway of the direct connection of input neurons and output neurons through spinal cord is called reflex arc. In lower end animals, the brain is not fully developed, so most of their actions are reflex actions only. As the brain is not fully developed, they cannot think about the information of the stimuli which they are receiving. So most of their actions are reflex actions only. Even in the developed animals like humans also, reflex actions are still existing because at certain instances, if the person start thinking and then only if he thinks that he can execute an action, then whatever the damage that has to take place, it will take place. So only at certain special instances, even though normally voluntary actions are taking place, at those special instances, the reflex actions are taking place. So reflex arcs are the efficient ways of functioning in the absence of thinking process or fully developed brain. Whereas reflex arcs are continued to be more efficient in giving quick responses even in the developed animals also in the case of emergencies. Right? Next, we will discuss in the next session what is human brain and how he is going to just control and coordinate various activities in our body. Human brain, it is present in a bony box-like structure in our head called cranium, and this human brain is having three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, what is this forebrain, what is this midbrain, what is this hindbrain, and what are the special functions of each part of it? All those things we will study in the next session. Thank you.